My name is Eunice Akasi. I work with Mission House, Ghana. I'm a missionary with Mission House. I'm married with 4 kids, but my husband has passed. So I'm a widow, continuing with the mission work that my husband started. Yeah, I've been in mission, doing the work of God for 25 years now in Ghana, serving the Lord. And the Lord has been faithful. I got involved in mission through marriage. I was to get married to my husband as a missionary that was working in Ghana. After God gave me conviction to marry him, I went ahead and got married to him. And after the marriage, I got involved in missions. Even though that was my heartbeat, I have been desiring to work with God. So when I got married, I continued to work with my husband. We were working hand in hand. So even when he passed, I still continued to do the work. When I was working when my husband was alive, and I was working with the youths, I was so much involved, mobilizing the youths and seeing how I could reach out to them. The youth issues was really my passion. I had a passion for the youth, especially when I got here in Ghana and I discovered that the young girls at the age of 12, 13 years, you see them being pregnant. When I go to the hospital for antenatal, I'll meet these young girls pregnant and the nurses will be insulting them. I'll feel so bad because back home where I came from, the children of that age, they should be talking about school. They shouldn't be talking about being pregnant or being at the hospital because of pregnancy. So I was really touched. So I prayed over it and God says I can do something. So I started gathering them and reaching out to them. And through them, they told me that we can do it bigger so that other of their friends can also hear what I'm doing and hear what is really moving them. And I asked them, how do we go about it? He told me we should organize a program. And I went ahead and did. The first time we organized our program, we have 40 children, 40 girls coming to listen to me. They were wanted to know more. So I was also very excited about it. The following day, we were 50. And that was how we continued doing the program. To a point that the school started calling me to come and minister to their girls because they discovered that the program is all about girls. So when I started reaching out to the girls at the churches, I discovered that in one school, about 6 girls at churches, 2 or 3 are pregnant and cannot even write their BEC. So I engaged them in discussion and to know the source and know the problem, why these things are happening. So through that, I was able to counsel them and even reach out to their parents. That made other schools also to keep inviting me to come and reach out to them. And at a point, they told me that it's not the girl that get pregnant. The men are involved. Why don't I organize both the boys and the girls? And I've had to change the name of my program, which first I started with Esther. I called the program Esther Project. I have to change it to Esther and Caleb because I look at the 2 characters were so touching to me. And I said we named our program Esther and Caleb. And that was how we went about doing it. To a point we'll gather these children. There will be about 500 young youths gathering to come and hear the word of God. This has really been my passion to continue doing what God entrusted in my hands to do, to see these children come to the knowledge of the Lord. Yeah. So when my husband passed on, it was really a devastating state, but I encouraged my heart and I move on with the work that he left in my hands, because I see the work was still tender. The youths and the places he have reached out, if we quickly submit it to the hands of, maybe hand over to the hands of people, they may not be able to follow it up, they may not be able to continue with the work. So all the investments, all the suffering he went through will be in vain. So I said, no, since God have given me the commission, have touched me to do this work, I'll continue. So I've continued with the work, and I'm seeing a lot of results and joy in doing what God entrusted in my hands. There are a lot of challenges. There's a lot of challenges in this work. Getting support to do what you want at a point is that difficult. So, like me, when my husband passed and left me with 4 children, 4 children coping with the work, it was not that easy at first. Even to get the school fees to send to the children was a big challenge. But God I have called is always faithful, and God begins to move people's mind to support me. Some even say, oh, I will sponsor your children's school fees. Like my firstborn is one of my husband's friends that is paying his school fees, and even the second one, someone have taken charge to pay his school fees. So that lessened the burden that was heavily on me. So, but then the work itself has its own challenges. You know, as a woman, some people feel that, oh, why don't you, your husband is gone, why don't you leave it and go back home? But that did not move me, because I know that Anne stayed with the husband only 7 years. But after 7 years, he continued with the work and was in the temple praying and fasting. So I know I stayed with my husband for 18 years. So after 18 years, you can raise a child. After 18 years, you can vote. So and even children drive at age of 18 years. So staying with my husband for 18 years, I know that what I needed to be trained, he have trained me, and I have to move on with it. So with the challenges, I'm still going on. Some places, our churches, most of them are under the tree, which is a challenge to me. And I've been trusting God and seeing how I could help these churches to stand on their feet before we can even think of handing them over. So we are moving on. All right, some of the exploits that the Lord have helped us. We have 2 schools, one at Upper East, which we are nurturing the young generation that the Lord will help us. And through them, we're getting their parents. And that have been our really purpose of opening the school. And the one at Suhum, at our base, where we based, that school too is helping us a lot to reach out to their parents and even to raise the young individuals. So it's our desire to raise these children in a generation that will fear the Lord. So the Lord is helping us through these schools too. I also network with other ministries, and that networking have been a great of value to me. Because at first, when we were just working with only us, we see that the work was not growing as such. But as we network with other ministries, I'm seeing that the work is picking up very well. So I've discovered networking is a very good thing. So when we network with other ministries, we will go far. But when we remain as a tree, we will not go far. Through the networking that we've been doing in our ministry, I've seen a lot of results coming up. So I'm also encouraged by that kind of exploit that the Lord is helping us. One of our pastors was, they were fetished. Yeah. And through us, the Lord have arrested him. In fact, in that environment, any church that goes there, they'll bring that church down through that fetish power. But when we got there, and they also came to test us to see whether they will also cripple us. Rather, God used us to win them. So we won them to Christ, and he's now one of our pastors. So in that environment, we're able to even open 3 churches there, and the 3 churches too are growing speedily. So it's one of the things that the Lord helped us to achieve in that environment. And through him, the entire family came to know the Lord, because when they discover where they were, where the things they've done, how far they went with the devil, but it never profits them anything. And the short time they came to God, they see a lot of change, a lot of things that the Lord have done. In fact, that guy once had an accident, and the accident nearly claimed his life. But with prayers, God, he was even in coma for a whole week plus, and they thought he would not survive. But he's now doing well, and the Lord is helping him. So through that, the village got converted. Even if they're giving their gods, cows, that guy would have not survived. But God, they didn't give God anything, but God have restored him. So it's one of the things that helps that environment to come to know the Lord. Humanly, I felt lonely. I felt discouraged, because I did not just get married to my husband like someone saying a wife. I say I love you, and then you get married. I had God conviction before I got married, and the same God showed me that this is my husband. And then after 18 years, and the man just leaving you just like that, in a foreign land, it was not an easy thing for me to cope. Just like that, it was not easy. But I call on God. And in fact, I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions that why should God allow this kind of thing to happen to me? There was one night I really cried, and with my complaints before God, God just asked me a question that if this man is still alive with me and is lying on the bed and cannot do anything, that he cannot help himself. I'm the one running around doing everything. I'm telling him that side. Will I be happy with him? Will I not curse him? So that very day, I encouraged myself that, wow. So God knows he has a purpose for everything. That is why he said all things work together. So including this one too, it works for my good. If not, if he's still alive and he cannot do anything, he's incapacitated, he can't do anything, and lying like that, it will not profit me. I may even curse God in my heart. So God that knows all things decided to pick him, for him to go and rest. So also I can continue with the work and the children, to take care of the children. So he knows it all. So I now pray for grace that God, you God that was with Moses, and Moses handed over to Joshua, you also take care of me. And this work, God, my husband, I've left it. I'll continue, and you give me the grace the same way that you said you were, as you were with Moses, you will be with Joshua. So you also be with me. And since then, God have not forsaken me, have not abandoned me, not at all. He have been faithful. Before I will take care of that question, I want to break through. I want to take you back small. First of all, talk to the young people. Like in my own case, I had a conviction before getting married. So I know where God was taking me. If not the conviction that I have, I would have even left the work that I have. I am continuing with. I would have gone. But that conviction kept me going. So I encourage the young people that before you get into marriage, don't marry because I loved him. Don't marry for one reason or the other. If that you have not received any conviction from God, it is better you receive from God. Because marriage is not clothes that you can change at any point. It's until death do you part. And in that process, you will encounter a lot of things. And beauty will fade. And love will end. So in getting married, it's better you have a conviction, and that conviction will carry you through. In any circumstances you find yourself, the conviction will carry you through. Because you have heard God, God will not forsake and abandon you. Yeah. So coming to your question now. Why I would love everybody to take missions seriously is that mission is a heartbeat of God. So being the heartbeat of God, we that have a desire or the conviction to do the work of God, let's put any weight aside. Not allow any circumstance, any barrier to block you from carrying the mandate of God. And then some of us that have the desire to do God, anytime we are doing it, there is that great joy, there's that fulfillment in doing what God wants you to do. You see that great joy within you. Yeah. So you have a fulfillment in doing what God wants you to do. So I will encourage every missionary that no matter what you're going through, you take your encouragement from God. It is God that have called you into this work. No matter what, He will see you through. So keep holding on to God and allow God to speak to you daily. It will help you. We missionaries, we need support. There is a need for support because you may see the need, you may see the work that you'll be so desiring to do, but if there is no support, there is no way you can get there. You need money to transport yourself. You need, even when you go there, the people too are looking onto you, are expecting you should help, bless them in one way or the other. So when you just go there with empty-handed, you will discover that the work don't move forward as it's supposed to go. I remember when my husband was sick, we were lacking support on the serious note. My husband first had stroke. At that time, that stroke was a mild stroke, would have been taken care of. But there was no money. No money for him to even buy drugs. Sometimes even to buy his BP drugs, we are not having anything. So it was even at the cost of that the issue aggravated to stroke. If he were having any support, that wouldn't come to that point, So if you make him to think and continue thinking, you have family, you have children, they are in school, but you are not having anything to help yourself, even to buy drugs for yourself. So the issue was so pathetic. I felt it, but and then I still believe that if we have more support at that time, he would have not gone at the age that he went. So to support the work of a lot of missionaries are just dying in one way or the other. It's because some of them, the things they are going through, the challenges they are going through, they will not come out to tell you that this is what they are going through, but they are going through dire issues. They are going through things that would have easily been solved if they have support. So I'm pleading that if there's a way we can support one another and network by checking even on one another, it will help. And when you check on one another, that even helps you to know the condition that your sister or your brother is going through. So support is the key to this work. The work of mission support is the key. We need support, and we also have to support one another. Even if you're a missionary, there are missionaries that are doing better than others. If you're a missionary and God has elevated you and helped you, you can support another one that is coming behind, and you will save a lot of things. We were having a school at Northeast, which that school was a great boost to our ministry. We raised a lot of staff from that school, but unfortunately that school collapsed. It collapsed due to finances. We were not able to pay the teachers, so the school collapsed down. But we had the intention of reviving it up, because the villages are even crying for us to revive that school, because it was a great benefit to both the community and the work. So it's our intention to revive it back, and we are praying that the Lord will open us doors, that we have people who could support us to put up a structure for that school. Because formerly we were using the trees, we were under the tree, and now those trees are cut down. We cannot go back to the trees again. So it's our intention to put up a structure for that school. We also have a need and a challenge of our churches. Some of the churches are under the tree. In fact, the biggest of them all, when we gather them all together, we have to stay under the tree. And when it rains, and when the sun is scorching, you have to run back to your places. And when it is raining, no one can withstand it. We all have to run back to our houses. So we intend to put up a church. So we have an estimate of $8,500 to put up a church of 200 people that can accommodate the people in this Lawok Northeast. My staff, they have been trying, even though most of them are living on virtually no support, but they have done a great work. In fact, for us to maintain a staff, at least we should give them allowances. We don't pay, but at least the allowances of $100 per month should be given to them, because they have families, and to take care of their families is an issue. So to leave them like that, to keep trusting God when it's on minor things I have to trust God, I think it is not unfair in our part. But when the thing is not there, what shall we do? So we're trusting God and looking unto God to open us doors. So if you could have people who could support us, and we have a minimum staff of 6. We have 6 staff. So if we are paying a minimum of $100 per month, it will not be that bad. It will encourage them, and that will serve as a boost for them to continue with the work. Also, my own family upkeep. In Ghana, the standard of living is very high. And even my resident permit, you have to be paying $500 a year, which is not be easy. At a point, I have to run it down for me to be going to the border to stamp and come in, which have not been an easy thing. So if the law open doors for us, I'll go back to my resident permit of renewing it, $500 per year. And my children upkeep, I have 4 children, as earlier said. 2 of them, a friend, as God provided, is helping to take care of their school fees. But that is not all, only the school fees. Other things you have to take care of, to keep providing for their upkeep. And the 2 that are with me, I'm also providing for them. So if we are having like $300 per month, that could push us. Thank you very much for your interview.